Good day, I'm Samantha Allen, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 30. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has made another call for regional leaders to create an integrated strategy geared at addressing the effects of climate change. She was speaking at Tuesday's plenary session of the second summit of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, in Cuba. Mrs. Simpson Miller said climate change needed immediate attention.
Climate change is here and we face it now. It poses clear and present danger to our continued development and threatens to erode our hard-won socio-economic gains.
The CELAC summit was one of several engagements by the Prime Minister during her four-day official visit to Cuba. She returned to Jamaica on Wednesday. After months of consultation steered by the Ministry of Health, Parliament has affirmed some key amendments to the public health tobacco control regulations, which came into effect on July 15 last year. Of note, the fines for breaches of the regulations have been lowered but remain significant enough to encourage compliance.
The Ministry, in consultation with the Chief Parliamentary Council and the Attorney General's Chamber on the matter, has settled on maximum fines as follows: $10,000 for first offenses, $25,000 for second, and $50,000 for subsequent offenses. Persons who have breached tobacco regulations by smoking in prohibited areas will not be given a criminal record.
In keeping with recommendations put forward by the Human Resource and Social Development Committee of Parliament, the transitional period for businesses to become compliant has been extended to 9 months, ending April 14, 2014. As previously announced, the workplace describes enclosed workplaces in general, but excludes homes and private vehicles used for employment purposes. And certain businesses, particularly tourist establishments, will be permitted to have outdoor smoking areas that meet certain conditions. The Health Ministry, through its Health Promotion and Protection Branch and the National Council on Drug Abuse, has extended its public education campaign on the regulations and ill effects of tobacco smoke. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says legislation to enable the adoption of fiscal rules will be enacted by the end of March. The enactment of fiscal rules will allow Parliament to be more responsible in the management of the country's financial affairs and promote transparency. A key element of the program is achieving a debt-to-GDP ratio of 60% by 2025-2026.
The rule will establish an automatic correction mechanism that would be triggered by substantial cumulative deviations from the annual overall balance target. The application of the automatic correction mechanism can exempt specified social spending from potential adjustment.
The fiscal rule will also include an escape clause, which is dependent on adverse shocks. This will be subject to parliamentary approval. Meanwhile, Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ has been embarking on a rigorous campaign to promote the benefits of the Fiscal Incentives Act.
We're working with stakeholders and groups, associations of different trade bodies or associations.
The Fiscal Incentives Act forms part of the Omnibus legislation, a rule-based tax incentive system for entities and individuals doing business in Jamaica. Under the Act, unregulated companies and self-employed individuals can qualify for an employment tax credit once they file and pay their tax returns on time. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaite says $30 million is to be spent building 10 new classrooms at the Edwin Allen High School in Frankfield, Clarendon. While addressing the school's 50th anniversary ceremony recently, he said the project would require the partnership of the school community and other stakeholders.
If you can raise 1/3 and the Ministry of Education will find the other 2/3.
Minister Thwaites also promised the provision of 30 new computers to the school by next year through the Universal Access Fund. And finally, residents in and around the community of Rosetown in St. Andrew now have greater access to information and communications technology, ICT. This comes with the opening of an ICT community access point recently. It's one of more than 160 access points established across the island by the Universal Service Fund.
What is good about this one is that even if you can't fit into the 15 seats that you have, you can come here with your tablet and access broadband.
And